students, I am Ms. Pushpa. Welcome to Igcse Economics 0455 Seminar 2021. At the end of this seminar, you should be able to understand what skills you should develop by taking this program, understand how you will be assessed. You need to understand what you are looking for in the answers you write, plan your revision program, and also revise by providing some revision tips. Section 1, we are going to look how will you be tested. Economics 0455, we have two sets of papers, paper 1 and paper 2. Paper 1 will be on your multiple choice question, 45 minutes. You need to answer 30 questions. Each question has 4 possible answers, A, B, C, and D. Each question is worth of 1 mark. And paper 1 total marks will be 30%. Whereas paper 2 structured questions, 2 hours and 15 minutes. In paper 2, we have 2 parts, section A and section B. Section A is on your data response. You need to answer all the questions in section A. And question 1 is worth of 30 marks. Your section A worth of 30 marks. Section B is on your essay. You need to answer 3 questions in section B from a choice of 4. And each question in section B is worth of total 20 marks. At the end of the day, your paper 2 is worth of 70% of your total 90 marks. You get it? All right. So your paper 1, MCQ, paper 2, structured questions. Paper 1 will be 45 minutes. You need to answer all the questions, 30 questions. Whereas your paper 2, you need to answer section A, data response, and also section B on your essay. You have to choose 3 out of 4 choices. That is on your papers. Next, we are going to look into the examinations advance. This is very important, people. Very, very important. Because students are usually make a huge mistake, right? In not allocating, all right, on your time management. In this section, you need to read each question carefully. Focus your answer on the question. Some students, all right, they will be having these issues when they see any related on the inflation. When they see inflation, the word inflation, they will get excited. They will go and talk about the causes, the impact, the effect. But the question will be on the definition. Simple. So that is the reason. All right, from day 1, I'm emphasizing saying that read each question carefully. Understand the question, then you analyze it. And you may answer a question about inflation and write all you know about the causes and consequences. But the actual question asks one to write a simple about the measurement. How to measure inflation, CPI. Simple. All right, so please, all right, this is very, very important to pick it up the right keywords in section paper 1 MCQ or in your graph. So read each question carefully and focus. Understand? And also we are going to look into the command words in the question. They will say identify or state means that you do not need to write very much. Just show the examiner that you know the answer. Define means you need to show the understanding of the meaning of the economic terms or topic by giving the example. Distinguish means you need to show your understanding on the differences between two or more terms. All right? So very, very important, people. The command words in economics, very important. Describe or explain means you need to go into more detail, clearly showing you understand what something is or how something happens. And analyze it, discuss to what extent require you to go into much more detail. And your answer should be longer and include relevant examples and diagrams, graph. Common words, all right, I will say keywords. Very, very important. You need to exactly pick it up, the right keywords, for you to answer in a perfect way. And marks for each part of the question, very important. Look at the number of marks for each part of the question. This should guide you as to how long you should spend on it. Some question will only gain you 2 or 3 marks, while other may be worth as many as 10 marks. Right? In Econ 0455, we only have maximum 8 marks, but it's a lot. So you really need to know how to allocate the time by looking into the numbers, the marks. For 2 marks question, if you want to write it off page, for what? You get it? So don't waste your time. Marks allocation is very, very important, people. When you see definition, 2 marks, define by just giving one example will do. Don't go and write it the impact, the causes, the consequences. No. 2 marks, define by giving one example. Finish. You can allocate more time on the other question. All right, we already learned that in the class. I already teach you how to allocate the time. 2 hours and 15 minutes. All right, maximum 40 minutes for your section A. 30 minutes for your each essay. So you have 3 essays, 30, 30, 30, 90 minutes. And you have 5 minutes to choose on your section B. You really need your 5 minutes, yeah, people? Always remember this. You have to choose the question that you can gain the confidence of 120%. That is very, very important. So please allocate 5 minutes out of your 2 hours and 15 minutes to see, to focus on the questions. Which question like you really can understand, you really can gain 20 over 20. That is most important. All right, so marks allocation, time management is very, very important in economics, especially in your paper 2. Economics examples. You need to use appropriate economics examples. All right, so use appropriate and relevant economic examples wherever possible to support the point you are making. Sometimes a question will require you to include specific examples of something. Example, distinguish between direct and indirect taxes with the use of examples. If you don't include any examples of this difference between the taxes, you will not be able to gain the marks. Very, very important. And always remember, in economics, you have to take the current 6 months examples. If you want to look into the real life situation, external examples, take something that only takes place in the 6 months. All right, so you have to look into the current examples. Don't go and write something that happens in 2018. That is long, long time ago. All right, so you take the current examples on your external. That is very, very important. Some part of questions, 1 in paper 2 will require you to include an example from the extract. So you may be asked, for instance, to identify and explain one example of opportunity cost from the case study. So you need to identify and explain one that was not in the extract provided. You will not going to gain the marks. Very important. If the question asks you, pick it up, the example from the case study, you have to pick it up from the case study. Don't go and give something on your external. All right, examiner got no time to entertain your paper. So this is all very, very important tips in economics. Moving on, we are going to look into the other important methods. Don't write out the question. This is a waste of time. Just make sure that you write the number of the question and the subpart so that the examiner knows which question you have answered. Manage your time carefully. Don't spend too long on some questions and leave it yourself without enough time to finish the paper. You should also try to leave time to read through your answer and correct any mistakes or add anything that you feel is missing. Very important. Make sure you know how many questions you have to answer. On paper 2, you are required to answer question 1 in section A and 3 from the 4 questions in section B. So you should do 4 questions in total. Each year, however, there are always some candidates who answer more than 4 questions. I'm emphasizing the format from day 1. All right, from day 1 in year 11, from the time we started our year 11. But I still can see some of the students in mock 1 still practicing to answer all the 4 essay questions. Why, people? Why you want to waste your time? We need more time, all right, to give a best answer rather than answer all the questions. For what? Examiner is only going to take the first 3 questions that you attempt. Don't waste your time. Question 1, section A, data response, compulsory to answer all the questions, just answer them. Section B, go and choose 3 questions out of 4 choices. You are lucky enough to choose at least 3 out of 4. So you can gain the confidence over there to gain at least 59 over 60. Minimum, you can go maximum 60 over 60 without no doubt. So please, all right, manage your time and make sure you know how many questions you have to answer in paper 2. Paper 1, MCQ, 30 questions, not a big deal. All right, but you need to allocate. Some students will be, Miss, 30 minutes, 45 minutes are so long. But trust me, paper 1 more technical than paper 2. So you really need to allocate at least 1.5 minutes for each question in paper 1. Very important, guys. And let's look into what will be tested in 3 assessment objectives in economics. All right. So, assessment objective 1, we are going to look into the knowledge with understanding. Knowledge is very important. No matter what, examiner will give you 1 mark for your knowledge. Demonstrate your knowledge and understanding of economics fact, definitions, concepts, principles, theories, and vocabulary and terminology. Very, very important. Assessment objective 2 on the analysis. You should be able to select data, organize data, interpret data. Applying economic knowledge and understanding in writing, numbers and calculations, diagram, and also your graph. Use economic data to recognize patterns, find and show economic relationships. We have done many questions on this analysis on your data. So you should know, understand, and able to give the best on this AO2 analysis part. Objective 3 is on critical evaluation and decision making. You should be able to distinguish between evidence and opinion, make reasoned judgments, communicate judgments accurately and logically, recognize that economic theory has various limitations and uncertainties, evaluate the social and environmental implications, draw conclusion from economic information, and critically evaluate economic data, and communicate conclusion in a logical and clear manner. Critical evaluation and decision making, very important. All right, this is on your analysis, on your practical. You should know how to interrelate one chapter to another chapter. All right, you should write as much as you can, draw a conclusion. So very, very important on this, all 3 objectives you need to know. And of course, we are going to look into how do examiners mark. We are going to look into matching, scanning, evaluating, scrutinizing, and no response. Matching, the examiner simply compare the short answer written in the predetermined answer space with a mark scheme. These include numbers like the single word and part of the diagram. Scanning, they will scan the whole space allocated to the question and find the key details. Evaluating, the examiner evaluates the truth, accuracy, and meaning of the answer using the information. And scrutinizing, when the answer is unexpected, not the same as in the mark scheme, the examiner must establish whether the answer is correct alternatively. The aim is to establish what the candidate has attempted to do. No response, when it appears that the candidate hasn't written anything, the examiner looks over the space allocated to the question more thoroughly to confirm this. Right? So this is how examiners will look into the component, examining how they mark your paper, how they mark your scripts. This is from the slides. Okay, as I said, amazing study tips, study less, study smart. That is the best. Next, we are going to look into the learning guides, meaning to say that just now we was looking into the command words, am I right? So now I'm going to tell you, when you're talking about identify, you have to name two characteristics of money. It should be bullet point. It can be in a bullet point, identify. All right. So it will be useful to underline the word characteristics so that you do not identify two functions of money by mistake. So you can, when they say the word identify, you can put it in a bullet form. Explain mean, in this case, you need to make clear why governments provide public goods. If you can remember the characteristics, will be better. You need to explain in detail. 4 marks. Analyzed, meaning how you need to bring out the links between the measurement of the central bank and take on a reduction in the household borrowing. All right. So each keyword down here is very, very important. And discuss, of course, you have to talk on your both side, advantages and disadvantages. This is what we are going to look into the symbols. I think we already practiced this from day one, but this is all something that you really need to focus people. On the other hand, all right, let's look into the example candidate response. All right, simple question, identify. All right, so let's look into the candidate answers. That is most important. Examples, candidate response. Define maximum price. The upper limit on the price that producers can charge. This answer should be strengthened by mentioning who would set the upper limit. This will increase the mark awarded from 1 to 2. You get it? You see, if you just give one line without telling the examples or how exactly maximum price can be defined, you only will gain 1 mark out of 2. So you need to really write it down on the maximum price with that, together with the explanation or examples. That is how you will carry your 2 marks. Explain 2 reasons why the supply of bananas may decrease. All right. So 2 reasons why the supply of bananas may decrease. They say supply may decrease because of cost of production increase. This will cause the supply curve to shift to the left and price to increase. What is the recommended suggestion from the examiner? They say the second part of the answer does explain in a possible reason why the supply of bananas may decrease. The first part of the answer identify a cause of a decrease in the supply. So it will, however, have been stronger if why a rise in the cost of production will decrease supply. And if the reason had been related specifically to the supply of bananas, a stronger first part will increase the mark awarded from 3 to 4. All right, if you read the answer, they said the supply of bananas may also decrease if it becomes more profitable to grow another crop. Farmers may use fewer resources to growing bananas and more of their resources growing other fruit. This will reduce the quantity of bananas offered for the sale. So they're trying to say that you really look into the possible reasons why supply of bananas may decrease. Explain to them. When you're looking into analyze, the factors will lead an MNC to produce in a particular country? This answer provides a clear analysis of the influence of the present skilled workers. Links are provided between skilled workers, productivity, trading cost, cost of production, and profit. The candidate, however, did not read the question carefully enough. The question asks for analysis of factors. Factors is plural, so that at least two factors have been analyzed. The presence of skilled workers is only one factor. If the candidate had included analysis of another factor, such as availability of raw materials, the mark awarded could have been increased from 4 to 6. Candidate. It is not easy to gain the marks in IGCSE, people. That is the reason why I'm telling you, write as much as you can. Don't limit yourself. When you see 6 marks, you want to give 3 points with 3 explanations. Not sufficient at all. That is the reason from day one, I'm telling you, please write as much as you can. All right, because you need to gain the marks. If you just limit yourself with 3 points with 3 explanations, you are not going to gain 6 over 6. The more you write, the more you gain. To play safe, you get it. Can you see how strict are they? All right, you will be looking into each of the keywords. That is the reason they say you have to read carefully your question and focus your question. That is very important. And when they say discuss whether or not government subsidy given to fruit producers will benefit the consumers. Let's see. The answer is clear and two-sided. There's a use of economic concepts of substitutes, inelastic, and opportunity costs. The answer is on the borderline of the top level. There are a number of the ways it could have been strengthened. One is that while the diagram is an accurate and relevant one, it is not explained in the answer. It could have been used to bring out the links between subsidies, higher supply, and also lower prices. All right, so if you want to draw the diagram, make sure you explain what is the diagram is all about. Don't go and explain for one whole paragraph. Never mind, few lines will do, as long as the examiners understand why all of a sudden we have a diagram over here. Understand, people? 8 marks, all right? Not easy. Please try to give them as much as you can. Let's look into common mistakes. All right? They say candidates often confuse maximum and minimum prices. A number of candidates devote too much of time to the first question part. In this case, some candidates might have mentioned that a maximum price would only have an impact on the market if it is set below the equilibrium price. This is correct, but it is not needed in a definition. And if you see 3b, when they ask to explain why supply decreased, candidates often refer to a fall in the price. Such a change in price will cause a contraction in supply rather than a decrease in the supply. All right. So by God's grace, if you're lucky enough to meet before your IGCSE exam, all right, I will go through one more time with all this format or tips, all right, on economics. And also I will try to give you all the hard copies. So also they're looking into, when they say some candidates when asked question about MNCs, concentrate on the effect of the presence of MNC on their host country, even that is not specific focus on the question. All right, so please, this is all the common mistakes that usually students will make. Not preparing for the examination, giving imprecise definition, confusing economic terms and concepts, stating rather than explaining, jumping links, not answering the specific question. These are some common mistakes. So guys, please don't repeat all this. All right, we have done enough, sufficient past years. You should know by now, right, how to analyze it, the past year. Understand, right? You see, even they give some general advice down here. Read question carefully, nothing the common words, allocate your time, answer the actual question set, flexible, support the statement you make in the explanation, analysis, and evaluation of questions, indicate which question part you're answering, write clearly, right? So please look into all this very seriously, all right? So these are the main mistakes, right? Common mistakes that kids usually will do, right? So better to learn from the other people's mistake rather than from yourself, all right? So don't learn from your mistake, please learn from other people. So don't do all these silly mistakes, I would say. Next, let's look into the what you need to know topics that will be tested in the exam, section 4. Right, so in this section, we are going to look into each section, what you need to know in each chapter. When you're talking about economic problem in section 1, define, all right, the nature of the economic problem, the factors of production, opportunity cost, PPC, the implication of causes and actions. These are the important ones. Of course, I will share this with you people, not too very much, but you need to know in each section, right? We can't jump, right? Or we can't really to say that, you know, I'm not going to focus in this particular chapter. I'm not going to focus in particular. No, IGCSE, right? Cambridge, we have to read the whole textbook as I said. From year 10 until from year 11, your economic textbook will be your Bible. You have to hold the textbook all the time. Right? So same goes to your section 2. Right? You need to know all the allocation of resources, the principles of equilibrium, changes in demand, price elasticity of demand and supply, usefulness of the price elasticity of demand, the market system, market failure, private and social cost, right? Market failure, chapter 30, chapter 40, right? Famous chapter. So you really have to know all these people. All right. If we say section 3, the individual as a producers, consumers, all right, money, different earnings, trade union, specialization. And section 4, the firm, private firms as the producers and employer, different types of business organization, the effect of moving firms, all right. So another thing that I want to emphasize down here, please look into the keywords. All right. Sometimes if you see different types of business organization, sole trader, public limited, multinational, cooperative. We have learned this in business as well. Some students, what they will do, they will take all the knowledge from business and try to put in economics. Very honest speaking, it's not going to help you. Right? So please be careful. All right. If you want to use the knowledge of business, make sure you know how to put in the economics terms. Make sure you organize it back into the economics wise. All right. Economics and business, two different components. Business, we'll be talking about the profit. And economics, we are going to talk about the efficiency. So therefore, as a sole trader, what will be the efficiency throughout the economics purpose? You get it, right? So if you want to take the knowledge of business, but please try to convert back into the economics terms. That is very important, people. All right? I don't want you to lose the marks for no reason. And same goes to the role of government. All right? All the 6 sections over you, I will give you. All right? We will go one by one. All right? Definitely, I will share all the hard copy with you people, not too very much. All right? So we'll look one by one. So that is from my side on economics 0455. All right? I hope all of you can score well in our paper. All right? That is very important, people. All right? Always keep your chin up. Don't give up. All right? We still have time, not too very much. We can still practicing on the passive. We can still look into the textbook. All right? Don't give up easily. Keep your chin up. And study smart. Right? Because you're not only going to focus on one particular subject, you have a lot to go. So study smart, be smart, all right? And all the best, people, all right? Hope this video or the seminar tips at least help you, all right? So to get it things done better, all right? How to allocate the common mistakes, all right? What are the meanings of the, common words that we need to know into economics? And mark allocation is very important. You have to look into every aspect of the components in economics. Again, all the best. Stay safe. Don't go out for unnecessary things. All right. So until your exams, very, very important. Stay safe, people. Take care and all the best. Thank you.